Hello guys, this is Alexandre Zar. Today I want to share with you how to go from a long cranking time to a short cranking time. The vehicle which we are talking about is my Mercedes W203. It's the OM611 engine. This situation applies to the OM611, 612 and 613. It basically has to do with the leakage of each individual injector, and problem is that it will have a long cranking time if the injectors are leaking. One or two or three or all four injectors are leaking. So the green side of the audio file is for the left side, I mean the before repair situation, and the blue with gray is the after the repair took place. You can see over here that the cranking times are really shorter. The peak over here represents the engine already starting, and from here on now it continues smoothly to run. Whereas the before situation, the peak is over here. Actually, there are a lot more peaks where an engine tries to start. Comparing the before and after, you can see that the starting peak is spot on. It's just one of them points, and you do not have to take a look for a lot more peaks. The engine builds up pressure over here really nice. Now this is not scientific by any means, but it's the closest way possible for me to relate to you guys how I figured this out. So it's not scientific by any means. You should do a full diagnosis at first, and you should also follow the following steps which I took in the video. So please do be patient, watch the video, ask a question in the comment field section, and at the end hit the like, share and subscribe button. Now let's get going. For you to be able to access and do the fuel return leakage test, you need to locate the injectors on this specific vehicle, on the C class from 202 with the OM611 engine, Euro 3 pollution normative. You have the injectors around here. For this I need to take off both covering caps, and to be able to do this I need either T30, don't know if it's visible, T30 Torx screwdriver or a T30 wrench, and unscrew these two screws which connect this right cap to the intake manifold, and these four screws over here which connect the cover to the head of the engine. The injectors are now exposed. We will need to take the circ clips of these four and basically take off the return fuel hose, put a screw on this end so that it won't have any backflow. Basically start the engine with the setup, but before I will start the engine I will show you how I will do the setup. Long nose pliers, I removed these four clips, gentle pull them out in this direction, and then you just end up by having to pull in an upwards motion the line. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And the continuation of this return line is here. It goes to the banjo fitting onto the pressure regulator on the fuel ramp. So you put a metric 4 screw over there, or a metric 5, depends on the diameter of the hose. I've changed these hoses because the previous ones were perished and I had to use these aftermarket ones. I didn't care in buying original ones because they basically do the same thing, but they have different price ranges and it's not worth it to spend extra amount of money just for that. So take this, put it aside, and now we will somehow install the syringes. Okay, they are all pointing in the same direction, perpendicular per the injector. I even still have to do some adjustments on this side. Now I can see that they are in proper place and position. As you can see, they're perfectly perpendicular per the leakage port. Hopefully, yeah, these stands will supply enough weight and pressure to keep everything in position. Hope I don't mess things up. Okay, so I've managed to start filming. As you can see, this is the problematic injector. We are, let's say, around 20 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that in the filming. And this one is leaking like crazy. The other ones are almost the same. 10 milliliters, around 15 milliliters, close. And this one is around 10. There's no leakage. But this one is leaking like crazy. This is definitely problematic. As you can see, this ghetto setup really works. Anyways, I know they are slanted into this direction, but thing is that the difference is quite huge. I mean, 15 milliliters, 20 milliliters, 17, 16, something like that. I'm gonna shut the engine off. Okay, so I've shut down the engine. I do have a problem right now. I do have to get fuel out of the syringes. But yeah, I will manage to do it. I'll show you how. Okay, so using a hand primer, some hose and a canister where to pick up all the diesel will be great. Now it's time to present the injector removal phase. Please note that if you have to remove the injectors and you are experiencing black death, diesel mixed with unburned soot particles built up on the injector due to failed copper rings, then you need an inertial hammer and an injector extractor toolkit, because most likely that injector will be stuck there. Of course, this was not the case for me. Injector removal will be shown just for one injector, and also I've shown the installation of the injector only on one injector. I approached the situation in this way just to make you guys watch a shorter video. 14mm wrench, doubled, so that you do not strip the lock nut. You have a wider gripping power. The same applies to this side as well. Okay, I got it loose. Basically, just need to hand unscrew them until you can undo them by hand. And then the Torx bolt. Basically, this bolt is undone with a T40 Torx head. You can either use a Torx screwdriver or a Torx bit. That's the screw which came out. Okay, so after disconnecting the Torx 40 bolt, I don't need to unclip this plastic connector, then undo the nut. Take off the bloody connection. Then it should move freely. If it doesn't, you need to take off the clamp. Anyways, I need to take it off, and then with vice grips, take it out. Basically, you should wiggle it like this, and it should come loose. Something like this. And then pry it up. And this is how it looks like. It has some deposits on the nozzle, but nothing to be scared of. So down there, that will need cleaning up. The bolt hole will need cleaning up, and for safety measures, if I ever do need to take off all of the 4 injectors, I do need to take a risk right now and undo all of them and put new screws in. Now, it is worth mentioning that I bought 4 new original bolts, 4 new copper washers, and special ceramic grease. It's made by Febi, but also I'll leave a part number for the original one. I don't know if it's visible, but this can hold up from -30 to 1400 degrees Celsius, which is a lot. And this grease goes onto the shaft of the injector so that it doesn't get seized up. I will now have to clean up the injector holes, the injector seat, the screw hole, and the rest of the cavities which are left over there. And after which I will torque down the screws to 7 Newton meters and then torque them 90 degrees and again 90 degrees as per the constructor's manual and recommendations. I will show you the end result in just a few seconds. Okay, so part of the injector housing is almost finished, spotless, almost spotless. There is still something which I need to do, and that is take this wire brush, insert it down there, and do clean up the surface of the seating of the injector, because that counts a lot. Don't believe how much it counts. So you just need the Dremel. It will go in like this, and once it's down there, you can start it. Be sure to have it at a moderate speed, something like this. So it opens up a bit in a conical shape, and yeah, basically this is everything what you need to do to clean up the injector housing. So now the injector seats are cleaned. this is everything which must be done. And of course you can insist with some rags and stuff like that, but be sure to blow some air in the end so that everything is clean, and also turn the engine 1 or 2 times so that it spits out everything which should have entered the combustion chamber. Okay, I think now I'm finished. Got each hole almost bone dry. I will leave them to dry out. I still see some liquid over there. And screw hole. The thing is, if you leave water or liquid over there, the pressure which forms in the bottom of the hole can crack the block. So you do not want, you can crack the head, the top head of the engine. You do not want to have anything to do with that. So best wait for it to dry. On a side note, what I've done is I've wire brushed the bodies of the injectors because they were rusted, and I do need to have them clean before applying the ceramic grease. I will show you how they will look. The injector is now prepared. It's full of white grease, ceramic grease. On the top side, on the nozzle side, we have the copper washer. Be careful that it's spherical, so that the top round side is facing towards this, and there is no gap between the injector and the copper washer. If you place it the other way around, you will see that there will be a gap between the injector and copper gasket. Now I will be inserting the injector into the housing, something like this. Okay, taking one brand new screw, and also installing the clamp of the injector. It has a ball over there, sort of like it's over here, this one. So on the back side of the clamp there is a hole which must match to the ball, and they will create counter push action. Okay, threading the screw in by hand with a screwdriver. Very careful not to cross hatch the threads. And when you feel that it is close to ending the ability of turning it over, you stop and you put the torque wrench on it. One thing to have in mind is that before hand tightening the screw with the screwdriver, be sure to settle in the cone on the injector side and the cone on the fuel ramp side. Hand tighten the lock nuts, and after that you can put the torque wrench to use. The torque wrench is set to 7 newtons, and that's it. 7 newtons achieved. And then okay, so I messed up the part of filming where I angle tightened the screw. Basically, after you apply the 7 Newton meters, you put the wrench, the ratchet. So we torqued it at 7 Newton meters, and we're done with the torque wrench. Then we switch back to the ratchet. We put the ratchet facing at 12 o'clock. Remember, you are over here on the top, on the back side, on the right side of the car, and this is the left side of the car. So basically you're facing this way. Now you put the ratchet facing 12 o'clock, and then you torque it 90 degrees by hand. Of course, you do not need an angle tool. I did try with the angle tool, but it didn't work very well for me. So basically you just twist 90 degrees until you reach 3 o'clock, because each screw gets screwed in clockwise. So basically you apply the 90 degrees once, again rewind the ratchet back in the 12 o'clock position and apply another 90 degrees, and basically that's it. There you go. You have the vehicle in full working order after you've done the proper torquing of the bolts, because these are torque to yield bolts. So yeah, this is the reason for which they are required to be torqued to a certain amount of Newton meters and then torqued by angle in stage 1 and stage 2. Thank you for watching. This is Alexandre Zar. Please do like, share and subscribe. Have a nice day.